Hello everyone and welcome back to the PokeGuardian Podcast. Hello. This time is a special episode dedicated to Terastal Festival. Yes. And with me is, I want to say a jack of all trades, a real gem of a person as well, in my opinion. He is a Pokemon YouTuber. He is a Pokemon competitive player. He also is a Japanese Pokemon card collector. And lastly, he speaks Japanese fluently.
It's crazy.
Hello, my friend, okJLUV. How are you doing?
Bro, good to be back. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. It's time for another session of the PokeGuardian Podcast.
Yes.
With PrimalLugia and okJLUV. I've been looking forward to this.
Same. Yeah, we have plenty of discuss. All about Terastal Festival. But first, card pickups. Let's see what we have gotten picked up since our last podcast. And you've been away since March as a guest. So let's start off. Recently, I picked up these Professor Program Energy promos, which are, in my opinion, fantastic. I don't know if you can see the Cosmos foil. Got plenty of swirls in there. And
you picked up a whole lot.
Set. No, these come sealed in a pack of mine at the Professor store. So if you are a Pokemon Organized Play Professor, you get points for, attending events, such as running a Pokemon League, going to regionals, special events, whatever, and you can buy these promos at the Professor store. So you get some sort of reward for being a Pokemon Professor. So that's very cool. You
started up a league again recently, didn't you?
I recently did, indeed. And why? Because the library I run my league at was closed down by Pokemon Company International. They only want to run Pokemon leagues at real stores now. So, which is a shame in my opinion, because my opinion is Pokemon leagues should be held everywhere, not separately, not exclusively in the store. But for now, yes, I found a very nice store, and I'm very happy. And what did you pick up, Julian?
That's awesome, by the way, that you got back onto the circuit, and then that meant that I'm presuming that's where you got access to those energy cards, right?
No, I already had some points left from the previous year, so yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm happy for you. Glad to see that back in your life. What have I bought? Nothing. I haven't been buying cards since I went to Japan. That was like the last time that I actively was pursuing Japanese Pokemon cards. So I have cards from that trip. I have a lot still. They're all still unsorted too. I don't know this deck box. I don't know what it's from. It was given to me on the trip. Pokemon Steven.
Oh,
I went on the trip with Pokemon Steven. He's a seller in Australia. He's got a YouTube channel too. And I just chucked him in this. I think this is a cool little box though of like cool cards, because this is basically all I really collect now. Well, not true. So I have started buying again, modern, but a lot of that stuff is still sitting in a warehouse in Japan, so I don't have it to show you. But like from that trip that I went on, I have like these really cool cards. Really, like I think this is just like the coolest stuff ever, dude. So like, these are all just like old commons and uncommons, right? But like
very nostalgic.
Yeah, dude. And like there's just no way that you're gonna be like picking these up off eBay without paying like, I don't know, like $5, $10, $15 a piece, especially depending on the Pokemon.
Yeah, shipping.
Yeah, and like the shipping
as well.
And then like the condition as well. Yeah. So like this store that we bought these from actually was in Nagoya, and it was just because I asked. I was like, we were there and we're like, you got any like bulk? It's like, yeah, sure. Pulled out like this massive box. Even like E-Series stuff, dude. It's crazy. So
and all mint as well.
They're in like, I'd say like excellent to like lightly played. There's some that are like, you could argue are like gem mint that would get like 9s maybe, but like, like inspecting them at the time, like when you're going through a box of bulk, you're not really thinking about that. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, like motherload, right? Yeah. So like you couldn't see the artist there, but it's mostly like Tomokazu Komi, Atsuko Nishida. I think there's some Himeno there. And some Koki Saito. So like artists that I'm collecting actively for my artist binder. So when you like find that kind of stuff, you're not really thinking of condition. But when we were looking at them, I was like, oh, these are great. And then when I took them back home, I was like, oh, you can see like some kind of like scratches, a little bit of whitening, but for a binder, perfect. So.
Yeah, that's great. The thing is, again, these 20-plus-year-old cars, finding them mint is a real challenge in Japan. And I am very happy and lucky that I gotten my fair share of minty e-reader cards, but no, very difficult task to do. And especially online, you don't know how these will look. And like you say, you had to ask for these cards in Japan, at stores. And just shows how uncommon some of these cards have become. And plenty of people are grading stuff nowadays more than 10 years ago. So
like finding that now is like difficult. Like most of those cards kind of just been mopped up, cleaned up post 2020. Like between 2020 and 2021, they're like, I feel like that is when they kind of got vacuumed out of Japan. So to find them on that trip was like very fortunate. Very cool. But yeah.
Very happy for you.
I did go to like 90 stores on that trip. That was like a lot. That was like in 7 days. There's actually self plug of the old YouTube channel. There's a series on YouTube. The next video is actually going to go out this week through Nagoya. I've already got a video up going through Osaka. So the Nagoya video will be up within a few days of this podcast going up. So if you want to check that out, okJLUV on YouTube. But I digress. Primal. Definitely. I digress. Let us continue with the episode. We've got lots to talk about today.
Definitely check out this video series. Yes. Right. Let's not waste time. Terastal Festival. The most anticipated set of the year. I think that's an understatement. Let's give you some set details, right? Because if you are new or don't know much about Terastal Festival yet, I'll, fill you in on some of the information. Right. So the set released on December 6th, 2024, like 1 week ago at the recording of this podcast. And one box costs 5,500 yen. And this box includes 10 cards. That's very important to know. 10
and each
packs,
pack has 10 cards.
10 booster packs. Each pack has 10 cards, indeed. And each pack guarantees you that you get one EX card or something similar or better, right? And why this is important, this is like, again, a high-class pack set is an unusual set. This is like most of the time is set released at the end of the year. The last set of the year includes plenty of mostly playable reprints as well, which is very important for the Japanese players. But also it includes many hits in the set. And let's fill you in on that. This set contains 50 hits, right? 12 SR supporter cards, super rare. 33 SAR cards, special archware cards. 26 EX cards and 6 supporter cards in special art rare form. 5 ultra rare gold EX cards. That is it. Also, what's important, gold packs do return. There are like a couple of pack patterns so far confirmed. You can get 3 SCR Eeveelution EX cards, and the rest are Poké Ball reverse cards. All 9 Eeveelutions are in one pack, which is very interesting. And there may still be more, but those are the 2 I've seen so far yet. I did mention Poké Ball reverses. Yes, these are in the set, replacing the archware, the 3 archware slot box, which is very interesting, which we'll talk about later on. On top of that, you get the possibility in those one of the Poké Ball Merfolk slots is a Master Ball foil, which is also not guaranteed again in a set. And both Poké Ball and Master Ball foil cards are textured. So that is very new thing as well we have seen now. Other than that, some of the hits, you can get in a box. 1 SAR card is guaranteed in a box. That is very important. You always get 1 SAR card in a booster box. You can also get 1 SAR card that's guaranteed, or plus additionally 1 SR super rare supporter card in a box. You can also get 1 SAR card, the guaranteed one, and 1 ultra rare card in a box, the gold card. And that's really it. There are new 3 artists in this set. Natsuko Shoji Ete, or what? ATE. This is like French, like it's a celebrity chef. Natsuko Shoji, Tomowaka, Tetsuo Hara, which is a very, very famous manga artist, more famously known for Fist of the North Star. And that's really it. That's the brief initial details of Terastal Festival. And what do you think about the set?
There's a lot going on there, dude. Not gonna lie. At the start of that, you were like, "Oh, if you're new here, if you're new to like collecting Pokemon, let me fill you in." And then you like explained the whole format of Terastal Festival. How many people do you think are actually like new and don't? I've been thinking about this lately, like that are like new and don't, and like this is their first like foray into Japanese Pokemon cards, or like they're getting exposed to Terastal Festival because it's like all over social media right now. How many people do you actually think are new, like at that level? Like this is their first experience.
That's a difficult one. That is a real difficult one. I wanted to say that people are more familiar with Japanese Pokemon cards the past 3 years.
Than ever before, easily. Yeah.
Than ever before. That is really a thing. Because why? I'm going to like expos and card shows the past year more. And Japanese is just widely accepted now.
Yeah.
You know, stores have less explaining to do. That is really interesting. That wasn't that like that 3 years ago. But in this specific case, I don't know if there's many new people, but I want to say there's more people that are familiar with the English variant that may get into Japanese cards, you know, with the prior information they have in English. But I don't want to think that there are like new people that had nothing to do with Pokemon before are listening in. If they do, then sorry, because this is a little bit too specific.
It's better you cover all bases. It's fine.
But indeed, I have to cover it just in case.
Yeah, I actually like it because you never know. Somebody might just stumble upon the podcast and be like, what makes this set so good? Or like maybe they just need a refresher. But there's a lot to go through. I think in terms of high class sets, this is the closest to, I'd say this is probably closest to GX Tag Team All Stars, which was the Sun and Moon high class set. That's from like 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Not as it's like halfway between that and like V-Star Universe, but it's missing the art rares. So like, there's a lot going on in this set. I think, I don't know. I don't even know what was the question, Primal? You want to ask me again? I forgot.
Let's just start off with the first question.
Give me a question.
Are your initial first impressions, post-release?
Post-release, my first impression.
Yes.
I mean, like, okay, so I've been doing this for a while now. You've been doing it longer. I like the set. I think it's a great set. I think it's definitely one of the better high-class sets of the last 2 years. Right, I'd say it's over the last 5 years. I rank them with a friend of mine, right? And I said, by far, because these high class sets come out every year, like they're like a celebration. We know this. By far, the best one is VMAX Climax. So it's like nothing comes. Well, some sets come close, but VMAX Climax is like easily the best of the last 5 years. And then V-Star Universe right after that, and now it's like a bit of a tie between GX Tag Team All Stars, the Sun and Moon one, and this, right? Because I think this set's great. I think dropping the art res is like this really weird step back, right? Because what they've done with this set shows that they like had very strong intent to celebrate specific artists or like put a big focus on like how many artists they're getting to collaborate with Pokemon, right? So you look at all the different artists that are involved in this set. A lot of them are new artists from the last year or two. There's some like veteran artists, and then you got these new artists like Natsuko Shoji, the chef, and then people like Tetsuo Hara, which is like wild, right? Mangaka, author of Fist of the North Star.
Real rough.
So
crazy.
So like that intent for me is like you clearly wanted to just like go all out with this set, but then you stripped it back by taking the art rares out of it. But then you put these Pokeball and Master Ball reverse holos in to give something to like, I'm gonna say like goblins or like collecting demons that just like completionists, right? This is like when you play. It's like when you play a game and you like have to do every side quest. That's what like the Pokeball and the Master Ball reverse holos are for. So like they put something in there to like fill that art rare gap, but like it's lesser than what they've done in the past for VMAX Climax. So it's really weird in that sense. I like the set, right? I think the set's great. It's just like I wouldn't even call it a misstep. I just call it like a really weird approach that they took with it. If that makes sense.
I mean, I do get where you're coming from. What I do want to say about, the lack of art rares, is, they wanted, I think, to test the waters, with a new kind of rarity, right? We already knew about Poké Ball and Master Ball reverse foils in 151, but not in this style, right? Replacing the art rare slots. Many people are now used to the art rare, 3 art rare slots in a box. In Japan, that is standard, right? Now it is replaced by textured Pokeball and Master Ball foil cards, which are, in my opinion, looking amazing in their own way. But yeah, it's really giving you a statement. And why I want to say they have done this, hey, they are expecting a surge of new collectors and possible players as well. So they might want to say, hey, you have plenty of to open in the upcoming future, right? Because how many in the main set is there? Let's give you 1 second. There are 187 cards. Again, the EX cards included and this and that. Basically, you get 150 cards that in the main set that you can complete in both Pokeball and Master Ball foil cards. You are real long busy with that set, completing it, right? And with the art rares, that should have been like 10 or 15 cards at the maximum. So the longevity is there, but when it's too much, really too much. And that's also a thing, right? But hey, this is, I'm still a little bit stuck because I don't know what to think it's like right now.
Cause like putting these in and making them so tough to find, the Master Balls, right? Cause they're not, Master Ball isn't guaranteed per box. I've read a bunch of different things saying that it's like 3 Master Ball to a case or something. And a case is like 12 boxes, 20, sorry. I don't know, right? I don't know what the numbers are, but I know that they're hard to find. It's really weird because like they're like fostering this new, like there's new collectors coming in to buy this set, but they're like fostering a really weird or like non-traditional type of collector. So like the Master Balls look nice, but I'm not like, oh my God, like the Master Balls look amazing. So like there's the drive to collect isn't coming from like, wow, I want to see what that looks like in hand. Cause like the special art or like the art rare, which is what it traditionally is, looks really cool. The drive is coming from like how difficult it is to find it. And that's really weird because like that could just be anything. Like they could have put a literal white piece of paper in the box that says Pokemon on it. And like that is like a rare thing to find. They just say like explicitly like 3 out of 20 boxes will have this white card that just says Pokemon on it. And like objectively, you know what I mean? Like objectively, that doesn't look good. It's just like, it's just rare. So like, why you just want it because you just want it because it's hard to get. And so like that's a really, and I get that like that's part of like collecting Pokemon cards, but I don't like how I think we've regressed in a sense because what we had in 2022 and 23 with Climax and V-Star Universe was so much better. Now it's like, hey, we know that like people go crazy about collecting this stuff and like a lot of these cards are like have like a high price tag on them. We know that. So like here's something that specifically is going to drive that type of collector crazy. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that type of collector being the majority maybe that's like going to be controversial. I think we should gatekeep it. So that like that is not the main audience. Because it's...
I get where you're coming from. I get why you want to kind of gatekeep, in that sense. And the chase element, like I said, like an open question. And to you, everyone who's listening as well, when is the chase element is going too far, right? Because Archres, I want to say, it is not. I think many will agree as well. Archres have been the backbone of this whole Scarlet and Violet generation. And it's not the special Archres, in my opinion, right? How nice the special Archres look. Archres are the backbone of the generation. They have carried the whole generation so far. And that's a bit of a statement by me as well. But leaving out Archres is a real big thing, in my opinion. Right? These are for the collector like a dream. These are like sub 300 yen, right? At least in Japan. DPCI is a different discussion. Have you seen an ugly Archres so far?
No.
I haven't, right? Pokemon are in their full element as well. I mean, this is the best value you can get of a Pokemon card. And they chose to remove it for a high chase element card of an art that already exists, right? So in that regard, I really understand you.
Because like the drive, like the drive of discussion and like a majority of the discussion online, and like maybe this is like a symptom of being chronically online, right? Because like if you're not online and like if you're not on Twitter and you're not on YouTube and you're not seeing what like people are talking about with this set, this is like nothing to you, right? Maybe this is the first time you're hearing it, but from what I've seen, what I feel like the impression I'm getting is a lot of the discussion around this set is like the exclusivity of the Master Balls. And like that's, for me, I find that really boring. Like it's just a different cracked ice hollow texture. You know, it's just got a Master Ball stamp on it instead of like a Pokeball, which is really weird. I will say though that the general, like the all illustrations through this set, reverse or not, like look stunning. So like, there is this element of like, oh, like it's cool to have like the rarer tier of the really nice common that would ordinarily kind of go unnoticed. Yeah. But like I can matter of factly say that no one is having that conversation online, like around the Master Balls. It's all around like, oh my gosh, like the Master Ball is hard to find. I want the Umbreon Master Ball. I want the Sylveon Master Ball. And that's boring. I find that like, maybe I'm like old school, but like that's just like a boring thing to chase. It's just chasing for the sake of it, and it cost us art rares, and that's what annoys me. Because like I feel like if we had the art rares plus this, I wouldn't care. I actually wouldn't care.
Yeah, that's a good one. That aside, right? I have a different question to continue this. You were talking about artists. The art looks cool in my opinion. What do you think about the Terastal special art rares? Because that has been a controversial, in my opinion, discussion as well. Yeah. Do you like, for example, just like random, do you like the Eeveelution special art rares, right? The EX cards, based off it being Umbreon, or being socially pressured into liking it, right? Hey, this is Umbreon, you must like it, and if you disagree, you are likely a hater, right? What do you think about that?
I mean, adding Eeveelutions to this, I made a video about Terastal Festival when we got the product sheet, and it was like rumored that this was going to have Eeveelutions in it. And I actually watched it over again because like when you talk a lot online, sometimes you trip over yourself. And I was like, I wonder if like how I feel now is different to how I felt then, because like being online and reading a lot of takes and having so many different opinions and takes, sometimes like your opinion changes, and that can be perceived as like contradicting yourself and being a hypocrite. But I went back and I watched it, and how I feel then is how I feel now. I do find it really weird how they just like shoehorned the Eeveelutions into this set, because like they just came out of nowhere. Let's be serious. Usually, like a lot of the SARs in this set are reprints and just like alternate illustrations of cards from the last year and a bit, right? And they're usually like meta driving cards, right? So they're very playable. The Eeveelutions are all new. So like Umbreon EX is a new card in this set. Glaceon. I think the only one that isn't is like, or the only two are like Ceruledge and Sylveon. But they even came in like a forced new, not so much forced, but they came in a new product that was like, came out in August, right? So like, they definitely just like put them in this set. I don't dislike it though, because like, I like the Eeveelutions, and so like more is better for me with these. I like all of them. Thematically, they are totally different to the rest of the SARs in this set. So like, that's a little bit striking, because all the Eeveelutions have like this stained glass. You know, if you went to like a church, you saw like the windows in the church, right? It kind of like that. Like they all look like stained glass, almost like think Kingdom Hearts, right? I don't know. Did you play Kingdom Hearts? You didn't play Kingdom Hearts?
No. I'm not
in Kingdom Hearts is like this thing called Deep Dive, where like it's like an awakening for the character, and then they go into like this almost like chapel-esque or like church-esque thing, and there's like, so all the Eeveelutions have like this stained glass, like fairy tale kind of vibe, and so thematically they fit together. But then like you put it next to like Goldango, and it's like totally different. There's a different vibe. I like them. Okay, there's obviously some that are a bit weaker than others. I got flamed because when they got revealed or leaked from that product sheet from Greg's, and they're like super blurry and you couldn't see them. I was like, can we like just take a step back? Like you can't even see the card. Like why are you guys like rating these? You can't even see them. I was right, because they look significantly better than what they looked in that reveal.
Yeah.
But I think like the Jolteon is like a little weaker. I had this discussion with someone today. Flareon's like a little bit weaker than the rest, but like freaking Leafeon's like insane. Vaporeon could be my favorite. I think they're really cool. As for your question, it was like, are you like forced to like Umbreon? I know you've been itching to have this discussion. You tell me. You go first. No, like you tell me how you feel, because I know that's a loaded question. I got my take. I want to hear yours.
I will give my take. The thing is, right, I do like the artist. I don't like the commission of the cards.
Like the choice to commission them for that Pokemon. Yeah.
Yes. What a commission means is creatures, the company that produces the Pokemon cards, decides how a card is being drawn, right? So the artist has the techniques, right? They give maybe some feedback of their own, but ultimately the company decides what is actually going on a card. So I really like how the artists have done the cards, really, right? But I want to say again, they have been bottlenecked by the Terastal designs, and I dislike the commissions, right? I even want to go as far. Terastal Festival would have been successful either way without the Terastal EX cards of the Eeveelutions.
I disagree.
Yes.
I disagree.
Yes. If they only left in the regular non-EX evolution cards, and then made Archers, for example, in them, or something like that, that would have been successful. And another question that we will have answered in the discussion, right? Is this Eevee Heroes 2, right? And the thing is, right, this set is great if you don't see it as Eevee Heroes 2. But the thing is, unfortunately, people perceive this as a Eevee Heroes 2. And that is something that it really needs to be said, right? This is never Eevee Heroes 2. This is a set focused on terrestrial cards. And yes, if I'm judging based on terrestrial cards, yes, these look amazing. If this is, if I want to judge, is this based on, is this a follow-up or successor to Eevee Heroes 2? No, far from. This is like, if Eevee Heroes is like 80, this is like a 45, right? This set, based on evolution, opinion, right? That's my opinion. Again, in this team, these are amazing, right? And I will likely enjoy them as a card, texturing, glitter, and that, and this and that. But as an evolution collector myself, no, I prefer the regular art over these terrestrial cards.
I don't think that this set would be as successful as it is if it didn't have the evolutions. I think majority of collectors made it pretty clear that they don't like this era of Pokemon. So like the Scarlet Violet Pokemon, like the majority of collectors or okay, hang on. Okay, no, I'll walk that back. I say the loud, it's like either a loud minority or majority, but the loudest group makes it very clear that they don't like this era of Pokemon. Because the reason why I walked that back is because like Surging Sparks was really successful. Excuse me. But even then, like, no, listen, let me think about this, right? So like, is it a loud majority or is it a loud minority? I feel like I think they know the target audience of Eeveelutions. So let me give you another perspective, right? Why they have included Eeveelutions, right? Because everyone knows Eeveelutions, you know? Yeah. Everyone
who is remotely into Pokemon knows about Eeveelutions.
That's why I'm saying if they didn't put them in, like, the set wouldn't be as successful. There wouldn't be as much fanfare if it was just like the Ogerpon.
Yeah. That's a factor indeed. So, and they know there are a lot of new people coming. Would it have been as successful? I don't know. I want to say they should have released an Eeveelution set separately.
Yeah, I think.
Right?
No, dude, 100%. Yes.
I think that's what I am having in my mind. Right? Why is this in a high class spec set, in which easily other Pokemon that are likely popular Pokemon as well could have been included in? Because don't get me wrong, right? Like you said earlier, there are 8 new EX cards in this set just for this high class spec set. That is essentially a reprint set, right? I want to say there's plenty of other EX cards so far released, right? That could have taken these 8 slots as, replacing the Eeveelutions. And in my opinion, the Eeveelutions could have gotten their own amazing mini set. Maybe in this Terastal, theme as well. I have no clue.
Well, I think kind of like where they bottled it is that a lot of the EX Pokemon that have come out in the last year, especially the Terra EX Pokemon, haven't been good in the game. Like, I'm sitting here trying to think what are the best Terra Pokemon in the card game, and it's like Teal Mask, Ogerpon, Teal Mask, Stone Mask, like arguably in control, Wellspring. Ask me the name of the fire Ogerpon off the top of my head. Don't even know it because I never see it. There you go. Yes, that is it. Right, but like it's not that great. Like you don't see it in many decks. Okay, other Terra Pokemon. Well, Terrapagus, but that just came out, and that's in this set.
Yeah. Pikachu also came out.
Pikachu just came out. Yeah. Set. It's okay.
S8.
It's like but like. That's it. That's from like the last year alone. All the good EX Pokemon are ones like Hands. Palaffin's in this set, and like it's a deck. It kind of is a deck. Iron Crown fell off. Iron Valiant fell off. What's this one? The Sandy Shocks. Like it's like fringe. You know what I mean? Like a lot of like the really good playable cards in this set aren't.
Yeah.
Like there's very far and few. It's like 6 to 8, right? And then there's like what? How many did we say at the start of the episode? It's like 33 or 26 EX cards. I would say like 26 EX cards.
26 EX cards. So indeed.
If they hadn't have put the Eeveelutions in, which Terra Pokemon are carrying this set? And it's like one. It's like it's Teal Mask, Ogerpon, and that's only because it's good in like a Regidrago, which is a V-star Pokemon from Silver Tempest, which is like what 2 years ago. So like this is just like a problem with the game and like the cards at the moment is like, and I think it just does come down to like identity. So like now I'm ranting, right? But it's just strap in, right? So the sets have like really struggled with identity this year because like it feels like creatures are trying to like get the best of both worlds. They're trying to like show off all the new Scarlet and Violet Pokemon, but then they're also trying to like maintain that draw with old school collectors that are very traditional and like Gen 1 and Gen 2 Pokemon. So like all the sets always feel like they're like half catering to each but never fully to one or the other. So it's like it's really weird. You feel like you're getting like pulled from both sides. The Terra Pokemon have like been pretty terrible. Like Terra's just like a bad mechanic. So Terra's just a terrible mechanic, right? Like the design is bad. We're talking about the TCG, right? The design is like the design's bad. The crown just like we can all agree that like the crown just like ain't it, right? Megas are cooler, right? Mega Eeveelutions are just it's just cooler. That's it, right? What's cooler out of the two? No one is ever saying the crown, right? So like that's one issue. And then like in the game, in the TCG, all it does is like bench barrier. So if your Terra Pokemon is on the bench, it can't be damaged from attacks. It can be damaged from effects, but not from attacks. So like that's like fringe. Like it matters, but like it's not that it's not like that game breaking. Whereas like Visa, like a Visa Pokemon has like a unique ability that can only be used once per game. That is like very powerful and can swing matches, right? Yeah. VMAX Pokemon have like so much health, right? But like they give 3 prizes. So like the VMAX wasn't a great mechanic, but like you can see that like GX was a good mechanic, right? But Terra is just like, it's like tacked on. So like Terra is a failure in that respect. And I think that combined with the fact that these sets like never truly have like their own identity hurts them. And then they do things like ram the Eeveelutions into them, which makes them better, but then like kind of makes them a bit like half again. I agree with I liked what you said. I feel like you could have just put the Eeveelutions in their own single set and it would have been like, now we're talking like Eevee Heroes 2. But now with as it is Terastal Festival, nah, it's not Eevee Heroes 2. It's cool, but it's not Eevee Heroes 2. Eevee Heroes is like they just got it so right, dude.
So what you're saying, you are basically thinking they knew about that this was not going to be a success, that terrestrial cards are a bottleneck for them. So they pull out the last stops to include the Eeveelutions after all.
Yes, and I think like when you do that as a brand, and like I can say this as a creator, right? Like if you don't have confidence in your own product, your audience can see that. Like the audience is not stupid. They're not dumb. Like they know, like most viewers' audience is switched on. So like if I don't have confidence in what I'm making, how am I supposed to expect the person I'm giving it to respect it and have confidence in it? And in the same way with creatures in this set, like the second I saw Eeveelutions, I was like, cool, well, is it only Eeveelutions? And then when it wasn't, I was like, okay, like they don't think that it can carry itself without Tack and Umbreon on. So like, I don't have as much like confidence in the set. The good thing is though, that like all the illustrations are really good. So like, I want to collect it because I'm passionate about it. And like, I'm like the niche, you and I like the niche, right? And I feel like most people listening to this podcast are that. Like this like matter, like it matters as a discussion because it's always like, how can it be better, right? How can we make the next thing better? As a discussion, it's pretty important, but like at the end of the day, we're going to buy it. We're going to collect them. And the really good thing about this set is that they printed it like to the high heavens. So it's not hard to collect. So I like that. So like, there's no like complaints, but I am always thinking like, I'm always like the last 2 years I've been sitting here being like, when are they going to just like respect set identity and not try to like, and like have some confidence in what they're putting out?
Yeah. So let's go back because you said I'm going to buy this later and there will be plenty of stock available. Yeah. Those are 2 things that I wanted to discuss as well.
Let's talk about it.
Right? The card market prices, right? Very unbalanced post-release in Japanese card stores, right? What I've observed the last week is that, for example, one of the chase cards, the Umbreon EX SCR has been, that's like 50,000 yen at release, then 40. Now it's, I saw cards as low as 19,000 yen after 3 days. And now it's up to like 30,000 yen at the majority, the majority of card shops even buying at that price, right? Is this, are card shops desperately trying to keep that card, at that level? Or do you think, again, what do you think about that? Because same for the Master Ball Umbreons and all the other Eeveelution SCR cards, because all the other SCR cards are like sub 1,000 yen, most of them.
Well,
what do you think about that?
Okay, this is good. I think this is going to be your most niche episode of PokeGuardian Podcast ever. So like, while it started like pretty like broad in general, like, hey, if you're new, have a listen. Now it's like we're gonna like get into the macro and the micro, right? So, okay, 2023 was a very abnormal year for Japanese Pokemon cards, right? It was probably the most unique year since 2018, right? In that, like, what happened that year, like, shifted how collectors view Pokemon cards, how creatures view them, and how card stores view them in Japan. So, I made a tweet about this, and I was saying I feel like hardcore collectors who collect just for the love of the game are like a quiet minority now, or like they don't really talk about what they do online a lot. I don't think that they're gone. I think that they've just like been replaced, I guess. Like you don't really see them much. What you see a lot is like people that value like money in Pokemon above all, right? But those hardcore collectors are still around. There's a server I'm in, and I saw this discussion. I was like, this is 100% what's going on, right? So 2023 with PSA in Japan, card stores made a lot of money, and then they lost a lot of money, right? Because you could go to Japan and you could take PSA 10 cards because you couldn't grade cards in Japan easily back then, right? Now there's an office, so it's way easier, and that office opening just destroyed everything. But before you could do this, you had to actually like take the cards to Japan. So Japanese card stores wanted PSA slabbed Japanese cards because they were so hard to get from Japan. So what a lot of collectors did is they took the cards to Japan and then they sold them to the card stores for like ridiculous amounts of money, right? Like I know people that did this and made like 20, 30, 40,000 Australian dollars from it. It's like, and that's like small considering like in the grand scheme of how much some people made from doing this, right? So yeah, what happened then was you could grade cards from Japan easily because they opened up an office, right? And the entire slab market in Japan, just like its ass fell out from underneath it, right? That's not a swear word, so you can keep that in, okay? It's like a bum, right? Its butt fell out from underneath it, right? You say bum,
no
right?
problem.
So just like fell out. This is like an Aussie thing that sometimes we say here, right? And what happened then was a lot of card stores are just sitting on these PSA 10 slabbed cards that they bought for like ridiculous amounts of money from foreign collectors that they then cannot sell to the Japanese collectors that are frequenting their store more often because they're in Japan. So card stores lost a lot of money there. I sold a lot of singles in August 2023 when I was there for Worlds, and like that was after the peak, and I still made like stupid amount of money selling cards, right? I sold like 10 cards and made 7,000 Australian dollars. It was like so stupid.
That's a lot.
It's like 10 cards.
That's a lot.
Primal, it's like 10 cards. Like, and they were modern cards. It wasn't even like they were old. I think one was like a Venusaur from CP6. There was a couple of Marnies. There was, oh my God, Lady from like Forbidden Light. Lady. And I sold it for 1,000 Australian dollars. It's like ridiculous, right? Because I had no business. Actually, no, the funny thing about that was I took it to one store and they offered me 10,000 yen. And I was like, nah. And I took it to another and they offered me 100,000 yen. And I was like, yes, please. So like that's what was going on, right? So they lost a lot of money. So now with this set, right? Okay, now with this set, they don't know what to do. I feel like the card stores are just like, they don't know what to do with it because if they list it high, people aren't going to buy the cards, right? If they list it too low, then they're all just going to disappear. But there's just like so much stock of this set out there, so much stock that they can't realistically be these prices that they're trying to list them at right now. You know, 50,000 ask for Umbreon. It's like there's so many boxes, and a lot of those boxes are leaving the country. So this is like the next part of the discussion, and like I feel bad because like this is a discussion and I'm just yapping, right? So if you want to interject, go shoot, right?
Yo, so why you're saying there's a lot of stock out there, I'm going to give you some more information. You know, if you why we are confident there's more stock coming in the first place, right? Because there's first of all a lot of stock already out there, plenty of stock. Pokemon Center Online, you could pre-order 5 booster boxes, which is very
and that was for like a month. For one customer. At least a month you could do that.
A month, yes.
Up until the day it came out, the day before. Sorry.
Yeah, and that's excluding the card shops as well, and the chain stores, the retail chain stores as well. But you know why I'm confident there's more stock coming is we have to simply look at the previous years, right? So why these high-class packs are getting a lot of reprints and are being, I believe you could still occasionally buy Vista Universe, even
every now and then it just pops up
on Pokemon Center. Yes. So why these sets come in the first place? These are very, very tactically released. Last month, we had the Scarlet and Violet Starjack generations. Yes. So these are essentially starter decks, theme decks for newer people that are getting into Pokemon cards again or totally new. So yes, they are getting hooked on Pokemon cards, and usually with these products comes a lot of promotion and marketing, right? So what we have had in Japan, I mean, before the past 5 years, they've had like Denny's, which is like a restaurant chain. They had you could buy literally decks during your Denny's
forgot about that. Yeah,
you could play it. There are like retail chain sushi shops. You could buy GX starter decks and get promotional cards along with it, not with the stamp, but you get to play that. Hotels, you name them, right? There's a whole bunch of promotion for these products. What these do is they get a lot of new people. Famously, GX starter deck in 2018, that was very successful. And they saw an opportunity, not necessarily opportunity, but what's it called again? GX Ultra Shiny. Yeah, GX Ultra Shiny was like, going crazy, as a result, right? So in 2019 with the V Star decks, they actually mentioned to card shops in a sell sheet, hey, GX Star deck was very successful social media, and GX Ultra Shiny was super successful as a result to that. Let's try that again, right? And this is their roadmap for each year, right? They want to try to maintain that kind of, release strategy. So yes, there's a lot of new surge of people likely coming in. So they want to have this amazing value pack at stock at most of the time, at all times. Of course, they have to step down a little bit. There's a chase element. So from, hey, I get this rare, this amazing high demand pack. But okay, generally, right, this set will be in stock throughout all of the year. There will be big reprints coming. I don't know when, but usually that's how it is. Look at 151, look at VMAX Climax. It got a huge reprint that really shocked the prices. And which still, for example, right, VMAX, Umbreon VMAX, character super rare, it is still like below 2,000 yen, I believe, or 3,000 yen. 3 years in, right? That is an Umbreon card. That is a nice Umbreon card, right? That's still 3,000 yen today, even less. That is saying something. And I'm not going to say the Umbreon EX in this set will be 3,000 yen in 3 years, but this is when you need to be very careful, right? Because we don't know what the reprints will do to affect the market prices. Look at 151. Look at how much, for example, Blastoise EX, what's it called again? SAR currently is sitting at like 4,000 yen today. So what do you think about that?
So like, it's easy for me to say, oh, I sold like Lady and I made all this money from it, because in the same breath and in that same window, right? Because like people say, oh, reprints are coming and be careful. You never really hear people like give examples of getting burned and like why you should be careful. So in that same breath, right, I bought the Iono SAR from Clayburst, right? Because I was like, you know what? Like I genuinely don't know which way this is going to go. Like Clayburst has just not been in stock for that long. And Iono is a generational card. When I say that, it's like, I think the illustration is great. The card is like extremely playable, and it is one of, iconic. And it's one of Japan, like it's, as far as Japanese collectors like within Japan go, it's probably one of the most coveted cards, right? For reasons, we're not going to go into it, but it just is, right? So I was like, I don't know where my window is. I'll just buy it now. So I bought that for 120,000 yen, right? And I think if you look now, it's 40,000 yen. So it's a third of, it's 2/3 of what it was. When it's a third of the price. It's a third of the price. It's a third of the price, right? So like I got burned in that same period because it's just like there's so much uncertainty, I would say. But like the writing was on the wall with Clay Burst because in April, Pokemon Japan came out and said, "Hey, we're just gonna like print the living crap out of everything. Just give us a minute. We're really sorry, but we're gonna fix this because it was supply issues for all the Scarlet Violet sets." And like I knew that. And even I didn't know the extent of that, you know, because I was like, well, I'll reprint it, but like, how much is this reprint going to actually impact the prices of the singles? And I was like, you know what? I think it'll impact it, but not that much. But the extent of the reprint was so severe that it literally thirded the price. So if that can happen, right, to Clay Burst, and that's not like a marquee set like Terastal Festival is. Yeah. It can very quickly happen at Terastal Festival. So that's why I think the prices of what, like the single prices you're seeing now, they're always very like hazy and like unclear in the first 1, 2, 3, you know, 1 or 2 months after release. But like now more than ever, knowing what the card store's gone through in 2023, knowing how much stock there is out there right now, and like there's a lot of stock, and knowing how much is probably going to come. Is it going to be a 3,000 yen card? Probably not. But is it going to be a 50,000 yen card? Not for a few years. Not for like a very, very long time. I don't think. But I could be wrong because and like this is a long discussion, right, Primal? Because like
I get what you mean. So coming back, right? Why this is also not an Eevee Heroes 2? Because it's simply not the same set. Like Clayburst or like Eevee Heroes. Eevee Heroes and Clayburst are just regular sets, right? This is a high class spec set, right? You get 1 SCR card guaranteed in each box, even though there are like 33 SCR cards. I've seen, I believe on social media, one that have opened 55 boxes and got like 5 or 6 Umbreon EX cards. Still, that is a lot of money to open. But imagine, for a card shop, that's nothing. For in this case, a breaker, that's nothing. Right? For someone that is opening this for a living, that is nothing, right? So you get like 55, you get, let's see, 5, that's like, you get 1 Umbreon and 10 boxes.
So I don't think you're going to get 1 Umbreon and 10 boxes, but like...
No, but you could. So
it's totally right, but like...
Right?
I get what you're saying.
It's random.
I think a better...
There's more out there.
Yeah, I think like a better way to say it is that like there's such an insane volume of boxes out there that that means there
with a high probability.
There's an insane volume of Umbreons in circulation out there, which is very different to Eevee Heroes, where there was not an insane amount of volume of boxes.
Yes. Plus, the thing is with Eevee Heroes, you get an evolution, but do you get the Umbreon VMAX? Do you get the VMAX, Sylveon VMAX? Yeah. Those VMAX cards are hyper rare cards. Those are very, very tough to pull. These are not, called HR cards for no reason. Exceptionally difficult to pull from a regular set in which you don't get any guarantee in that you get a special art card. You get a regular full art. And this Terastal Festival, you get something in your box, a special art card, guaranteed. And that is saying something, right? Is this the discussion people want to hear? No. But this is the reality. And this is why I want to say Umbreon VMAX character super rare is still sitting at that price, right? Because in any other set, it would have been 20,000 yen if it's in a regular set, but it isn't. It's in a high class spec set. So, yeah, I think let's move on because
I don't want to move on. I think this is like there's still more to talk about here, right?
Go ahead.
So like the other component of it is that there are so many like collectors in this space that have a lot of money that are in, and this is the kind of collector I was talking about previously, where it's just like they're primarily dollar driven, right? That's what drives them. And like I don't want this to sound like I'm judging, but like, because like it's just a reality, right? Is that this new wave of collectors that have come in are very dollar driven, right? Because you can't sit there and tell me that somebody who just got into Pokemon in the last, you probably could, I don't know, you probably could, but like somebody who's going to come in the last 2 years is not going to say like Wellspring Ogerpon is my favorite Pokemon, so I love Pokemon. Like 1 out of like 10,000. All right, it's a very small minority. All right, but the fact is that a lot of the collectors that have come, and this is fact, right? A lot of the collectors that have come in the last year or two, let's say last year, have come from this con audience, right? So I don't know how much you know about like how big cons have gotten in the States, in America, like CollectorCon, Comic-Con, and like just general like card conventions. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Cons are huge now. Like, right. Cons are huge, but like
even here, there's a surge of new conventions dedicated to Pokemon. And that's something that like I said, the last year I've been through them because there is more available.
But you go on like YouTube and you watch any con video, like from a vendor, and it's literally, they could be trading rocks, right? Like they could be trading rocks, like different colored rocks and like quartz and stuff. Like it's not about like, there's no like genuine like, oh, I like this model a lot, I like this Pokemon a lot. It's literally like, oh, that I know that is a rare card that generally people perceive as rare.
Yeah,
I'll give you this for it, I'll give you that for it. And it's just like bartering, right? So the reason why I'm talking about that is that you've got these people that have come into the space and are collecting now, and they have just so much more money than people like you or myself, right? Like the regular collector that just does it for the love of the game, that they can like overnight influence an entire market, right? Very, very easily. Because let's say I decided one day I just wanted to buy out all of the Umbreon VMAX from VMAX Climax, right? I was like, went on Card Rush, I went on UUT, I went on Macari, and I just bought like, I don't know, 70,000 USD worth of Umbreon VMAX, right? All of a sudden, I basically own the supply. Or, you know, I'm talking buyout to the extent that like card stores are no longer able to list it and they just don't have volume, right? They might have like one or two here and there, right? All of a sudden, I own the supply, right? I own the supply. I dictate the price, and then I can make that. I can make that an expensive card if I want, because I own it. I can just drip feed it back onto the market internationally. So, at any point, that can happen because we have that type of collector in the space now, where they've come in and they just like commodify the whole thing. So that can happen at any point with Terastal Festival, and that's why there's like this uncertainty, right? Where you want to say like wait for the reprint and chill, but like in the same breath, if the majority or like let's not say the loud minority, let's say like the rich minority decide that they just want to control that, it can just happen and then it's over, right? I saw it happen to an extent with Eevee Heroes, right? I know a seller and like they bought a lot, but they didn't buy that much, right? But I remember the day that Eevee Heroes special arts just weren't on Card Rush anymore, and I know who bought them. Right, and that was it. Well, they were gone, and then they went from being 5,000-6,000 yen a piece to being 10,000 yen a piece to being 15, 20, to with the Umbreon V being at 25 and the Umbreon VMAX being at, you know, well, harder to control Umbreon VMAX, but that happened with the Vs, right? The V special art. But the point is, I saw it happen. I saw it happen with Weiss Schwartz and HoloLive autograph SSPs. I saw it happen there too. One day they were on UUT, next day they just weren't. Right, and it's because one person bought them all, and that can happen at any point now. The more rich minority collectors you have, and we have a lot, the more likely it is that can happen. And sometimes that just happens, and we don't know it.
Yeah, there's like you say, there's a lot of even private Japanese, not even the international market, Japanese rich people out there, and I know some of them, right? I saw some of them on Twitter, you know, they buy luxury goods, right, in general, and they see Pokemon cards as a luxury as well, these high, rare value cards. And there's Japanese people who like an endless collection of the thing that they like, right? They are out there. Coming back to your Iono purchase, you know, for 100,000 yen. You know, if it was
120,000 yen.
120,000 yen. I'm very sorry, but yeah, that's a difference.
I'm sorry.
If it was a good price. No. It's good to correct. If it's a good price back then, right? Then you should have no regrets, right? Yeah. Then again, like I say, you don't know what the future brings. You just don't know, right? So if you liked Iono for personal reasons, right? You think it's an iconic card, go for it. Right?
Yeah.
If you think that Umbreon EX SER card is worth it to buy at 30,000 yen, go for it. If it's a good price at this specific time. Yeah. Personally, right, as a collector myself, I do it 6 years now, and it's even longer, I believe. I wait out one month until everything has been settled in, right? Until we know more about the market stabilized. Then I will likely, okay, so this is the market now. I will click buy now, right? At a good price. And whatever happens, I will have peace with 10,000 yen or 15,000 yen loss.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just don't know what the market brings. And really,
you do and you don't, right? So like, like I'll say I've already bought singles for this set, but I know that they're not going to get any cheaper than when I bought them. They might get like marginally cheaper, but like you do and you don't. Like you know, and you're right. Like you wait a few months, that's fine. Like, you know,
2 years,
give it like 1, 2, 6 months, like within that window.
1, 2 years,
yeah.
Difficult. That's on walking on eggshells, really, right? That is really pushing it to a limit, and it's okay to control your FOMO. That's really a good thing, right? Because I can, right? Hey, I'm not going to be desperate because I know, after 6 years with experience, okay, I will allow it. Not day one purchase, not week one purchase. If it's really like sub 3,000 yen card, I don't bother. But I do bother with 30,000 yen, right? Yeah. That's more money, right?
Right.
I don't want to lose 20,000 yen, right? No. Because simply out of FOMO.
Yeah.
But you have to control your FOMO and indeed just wait out a little bit, but don't go overboard.
Well, there was a really weird window with this set. Like, I feel like if you'd bought the Umbreon in that window, and I didn't, because I was like, I know that I like there's like this element of like I feel like there's nothing stopping it from going below 19,000 yen, right? Because I thought Iona wouldn't, and then it did, right? But there's like you can measure it. So like I looked at the prices last week and they floored, right? I'm gonna use I'm gonna use those terms. I don't care, right? They definitely floored, right? So like I bought the Ogapons for like 500 yen a piece, the SARs, because they're just not going to get cheaper than that, right? And if they end up being like 300 yen, oh my gosh, I lost 200 yen, right? But like though, like I just wanted them now, and I knew that they weren't going to get cheaper than that, and if they did, it was fine. Iron Hands, Iron Valiant, Pekaron, I bought for 400 yen, right? The Blood Moon Ursaluna, that's by Yano Keiji, an artist who drew one of the cards in Illustrator. From 2001, I think that was. They drew the you know the one. It's it's Fennekin's Final Evo. Oh, I'm being tested. Delphox, that's the one. Yeah, I know Delphox. Delphox V, good card. They drew like a Delphox card, and this is their first Pokemon card. So like they ended up coming back. The Blood Moon Ursaluna, right? That's cool. At 1,000 yen, I'm like, say less. Like I'm just gonna buy that, right? So
amazing
like they floored for a period. And then I think word came out that like there was we know the reprint's coming, but like stock was drying up in Japan, so then all the singles started to like slowly creep up, and like they've still been creeping up the last 7 days, right? You could have bought Umbreon then, you would have probably been chilling, but yeah, you can definitely read it, and I feel like if you've been around like the last 3 or 4 years, you can read it, and if you've been burned before, like if you've made a mistake. Like I did with Iono, like you definitely learn from that, and like if you tell other people, they'll learn from it, and you won't make that mistake. So I don't know. Look, I don't like. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't know, right? I have a feeling based on like experience and like just speculation, and all I can do is really share it. All you and I can do is really share it. It's not definitive at the end of the day. Like I said, someone can just come through, buy them all out, and then it's over. Like I shared this with you before, and we had a little bit of a discussion about it. But the Eevee, there's 2 Eevees, right? SARs.
Yeah? Oh yes. That we still need to talk about that as well.
Yeah. So there's 2 Eevee SARs, Eevee EX, but there's the second one is the one illustrated by Natsuko Shoji. That's the chef, right? Yes. And it's Eevee in like a little fruit box, dessert box, right? Now, I saw a tweet, but this came from like a no-name Twitter account. That was basically saying there's a missing card in the set list in Prismatic Evolution, the English set. And so that account was like definitively saying that Eevee by Natsuko Shoji is not coming out in English, right? And so like even just from that tweet, it's like baseless, right? It's just speculation. that Eevee is like 3,000 yen more than the other one now. It's like it's just like rising, right? So like that is the level. That is like how information and like how easily this market can be influenced, right? And that's not even with money, right? That's just with like a tweet. And then you add money into the mix where people believe it and then they start buying it up. And it just happens within 2 or 3 days, that card's $30 more now. Now, is it true? I don't know. You have your thoughts, share them, because like I think it's fair. I think your hypothesis is close to them.
It's still a speculation, but hey, there's a Prismatic Eeveelutions Super Premium collection coming in May. There's a Prismatic Eeveelutions Premium figure collection coming in September. So that is like 8 months away. We still haven't gotten any product information yet. We don't know. And I think...
So what you're saying is it could come as a promo in those products?
I definitely could, right? Yeah. Because that makes TPCI in the end more money. There are higher margins on releasing it in either of those two boxes.
Yeah, they sell it in a product that people ordinarily wouldn't want to
buy. yeah, that's really it. But yeah, it could be, but it could not be in a set, but definitely could in either of those two boxes. Definitely could.
I actually don't want it to be in Prismatic Eeveelutions. I want a gatekeep, right? Because like, I do. Because like, I want like, I was thinking about this today after we spoke about it. And I'm like, how do I like formulate this statement, right? So like, on the topic of like master balls, right? Earlier when I was saying it's just like rare for the sake of being rare, right? Why not give something to collectors that are like us, like you and I, right? And the people that are listening to this that are like fully into it, like talking about the macro and the micro, collect both English and Japanese. Just give them something that's more exclusive, right? Than just like, it's like a card that only exists in Japan. It's cool, right? It's cool.
I mean, now that you mention it, on TPCI side, we got some exclusives.
In English already, that aren't in Japanese.
The Greninja EX, the Kendra EX from Short Fable, those promos are not in Terastal Festival. Easily could have been.
Yeah.
In Hong Kong, Taiwan is going to be released in a promo pack with Terastal Festival. So I don't expect it to be coming in Japan. If it does, cool. But yeah.
Like you've spoken, you used to speak about this a lot, especially when you were doing the episodes with Taj, right? Mm-hmm. Having cards like that you can then bring and share with other people and trade around the world opens up a lot of doors. Like it gives you that connection that you ordinarily wouldn't have with somebody overseas. It's like, hey, my country's got this card, your country's got that card, let's trade, right? So like by making it exclusive, it just brings that back. There's at least 5 cards that aren't in Japan. There's like, there's more, I'd say. There's like Lance's Charizard, there's the Sylveon. Yeah, there's the Toxtricity. Yeah. Then you've got like the Kingdra and the Greninja, like you just said. Like that's already
Iono,
5.
Iono Premium.
There's an Iono. Yeah. Right? It's like
Clara.
Yeah, there's Clara. There's like, just put it back the other way. I like it. And like,
yeah.
Then it gives like the people that are like on the pulse, like you and I, some like an edge over, like, because this is what I really want to talk about. It's like in this space now, like money drives a lot of it, right? So if the more money you've got, the more you can do as a collector, right? Give something back to like they know what's going on. Like they're not oblivious. That's why they made Master Balls, right? Give something back to those collectors that don't have a large amount of capital and want to be able to be like, hey, I got this card that's rare and worth a lot of money because I knew and I was ahead of it. And now I've got something that I can bring to the table with my knowledge. Like reward, because it's like, you're not just rewarding who's first to the punch. You're rewarding like who is like, you're rewarding like the otaku. Like you're rewarding like the hardcore collector that is like living and breathing your product. And like, I feel like you should do that as a brand. Like you should be like, hey, I'm gonna give him a bone, basically. Like you were smart enough to catch on and do that. Like here, now you've got this card that you got that it flew over everyone's head, but because you knew, you got it. And now like,
correct,
gives you an edge, right? If you're gonna give Master Balls to the people that you know are like, oh my God, like it's rare because it's rare, give it the other way. That's where I'm coming from.
I get what you mean, because looking at the past, up until 2021, they used to give promotional full arts with a booster box if you bought 2 booster boxes, right? They have suddenly just abruptly ended that. I believe the last one was Celebi V special art indeed. And after that, of course, Eevee Heroes came and everything changed for worse or better. I have no idea. But that stopped, right? What I also notice is less Pokemon Center promotions, right? That also is like once per year now.
Yeah.
Used to be more. That also is like way more less than 5 years ago. I mean, you know, sorry to say this, but 2018 you could get hey, you can get the 9 Eeveelutions in ponchos, right? If you spend 800 yen on a product, that also stopped, right? Unagaba, I believe, was the last big promotion or last year.
Yeah.
I believe so. And that's really it. I don't think any big promotions have been done this year. I don't know off the top of my head.
No, because like that burns me. Like when if I don't get something because someone's faster than me or like has more money than me, I actually don't care, right? Or like bought. It's like, congratulations, like you paid. It's basically like pay to win, right? I don't care. Correct. It doesn't bother me. But if someone's like, I got this thing because I knew, I'm like, oh my God, like. Mm-hmm. I just want to smite you where you stand. Like, how did you know that and I didn't? And then what it does is it makes me want to know and like be more into it and be more active in the space so that I don't miss out again, because it's within my control. As long as I'm like staying actively like engaged in the space and reading the news and like, you know, talking to people, I'll know, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas like pay to win is like, it's cringe. It's lame. It's against, it's against the heart of collecting, I'd say. You know, it's like, I feel like in art, like in high art spaces, right? Now we're not talking about Pokemon, right? If someone comes in and they've just got like more money and they go to like an exhibition and they just like like they're not actively following an art, like a specific artist or whatever, and they just come in and they just like buy it out. Like they're not respected. You'll never be respected in the space, in the high art space, right? You'll just be someone that has a lot of money, right? You're always going to respect someone that like avidly follows the artist and like knows, has like seen the evolution and progression of their work, right? No one respects, I feel like no one, well, at least for me, like few people will respect people with the most amount of money. They're going to respect the person with the most amount of knowledge and experience. And
who knows?
Pokemon feel like, for me anyway, that's the same way, you know?
Counter question. Do you think creatures / the Pokemon Company is getting complacent?
Yes, I think Master Balls is like a great example of that. I mean, that's kind of what I was talking about at the start of the episode. Yeah. It's like, while they are showing that they like really want to showcase and broadcast to the world the amount of different artists that they're getting involved with Pokemon that they're collaborating with, like Tetsuo Hara is probably like the biggest one. They do weird things like strip the sets back for no reason, like no good reason. Like you can't give me a good reason. You cannot objectively give me a good reason to take out art rares. You just can't. There are so many good like common and uncommon Pokemon in the game right now that could have got another, like a art rare or another art rare that just didn't.
Correct.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, because there are still plenty of Paldea Pokemon, I believe, that still hasn't gotten any art rare or special art rare treatment.
Yeah.
And that's some, I don't know if again, I could be wrong, but some Paldea Pokemon still haven't gotten that treatment yet. That worries me because next generation, that spotlight's gone for them, really, right?
Yeah.
They're likely never getting another opportunity anymore. So this is why I like, for example, there was like complaints last year with Shiny Treasure EX, right? Where's the Pikachu? Where is the Alakazam? Where is this and that? I don't care, right? Because they will get their own spotlight in the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Those Paldea Pokemon don't get it, essentially, right? So in that sense, I'm happy. But I think they are getting complacent because, like you say, I think they are not going to reward the true fans anymore. But what is a true fan? I have no idea. But when they are stopping giving out free chase cards, with 2 booster boxes, as a promotion card. That is saying something, right? They are, I want to say complacent in a sense. Hey, this product will sell anyway, right? Yeah. Why bother giving out an extra promotion for the fans and, or the customers, right? That, to give a better deal. We don't need to give them a better deal. It will fly off the shelf anyway.
Yeah.
And they think they are in that situation, but that complacency, might get, shoot them in the foot, because they are now removing Archers. They haven't, I don't think they realize they have shot themselves in the foot.
Well, like, they're fundamentally giving collectors less of a reason to open up product. So,
yeah.
Because like, I don't collect English because it's expensive, and I just prefer to collect Japanese, and I only have so much money. So yeah. I would rather spend my disposable income on just Japanese and buy the singles. For me, opening is like lost its touch, right? So I'm like disenfranchised with opening up product because it's a straight up gamble, and I just want to get what I want. So like, why would I open up? That's the thing with Terastal Festival. It's like, why would I open up more than like 1 or 2 boxes when I have a very high chance of pulling a card worth less than 2,000 yen?
Yeah.
And majority of the cards that I want are worth less than 1,500 yen. Like, there's really no practical reason to do it. So I'm more inclined to buy singles. With English though, I would take the punt, because like, it is a gamble. I would open up Prismatic Eeveelutions, and like, now we're getting to another topic, right? We'll go here. I would open it up if there was like more reason to, beyond just the SARs. If there was art rares, right? If I knew that there was a chance that I'd get an alt of a playable card, so that even if I didn't get like a big hit, I got something decent. But they took that away, so like, I have very little reason to go and buy Prismatic Eeveelutions at retail price.
At least the Elite Training Box got from what I've seen, an Archware style Eevee promo in there. So that is giving, more reason to buy that product at least. I have pre-ordered one at a discount, right? But
see, that's the thing. That's not even mentioning the fact that like, if I wanted to go, let's say I did want to go open up an ETB. If I was going to do that, I got to pay like double retail, because the set is just so coveted because of what I was talking about earlier. You've got like people with a lot of capital have come in and just swept the pre-orders and are controlling that whole sector, right? That whole, they've just dominated it, right? Because they've got more capital than you or I, and they're faster, or they were faster, or whatever it is, right? So like, I got zero reason to go and do it. I'm just like, there's one card, I put a tweet up, it was just like a throwaway meme. It's like Budju is like the only card that I'm interested in from Prismatic Eeveelutions because it's playable. There might be another couple here and there, but I'm not going to go and spend 200 Australian dollars on an ETB to likely pull like donuts. Like, because not only have they stripped the set back, there's an issue with getting it because they've catered too heavily to this money-driven only collector, but it's just created this like cooked climate at the moment. That's just weird, and I feel like very few people are talking about it outside of this little podcast, which is why I really wanted to get into it today. So I'm glad you opened up the discussion to me, because you gave me a reason to rant.
I mean, that's fine. That is your opinion, right? And this is an opinion-based podcast, except for the facts that we stated in the beginning, right? The factual information. Yeah, the thing is, I get where you're coming from. Personally, I'm not a big fan of TPCI products anymore, despite how nicely these have been designed. I gotta, give it to TPCI. They get exclusive promos the past 4 years. That is something I didn't expect, right? Look at celebrations. Again, I want to state this again. TPCI actually managed to get exclusive commissions for celebrations, right? The Grenier Gold Star was a TPCI exclusive. Like you said, the Lance Charizard V, Dark Sylveon V, the Light Toxtricity card, and you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Those celebrations were exclusively designed for TPCI.
Yeah.
In collaboration with Japan. That is something that I didn't expect. So in that sense, TPCI is doing great for themselves, right? Likely that Eevee is maybe as well a TPCI exclusive.
How much of that was, I'd say very little of that was driven by TPCI. I think that came from creatures. That wasn't really it. I don't think TPCI have that much pull. I think that's definitely a creatures plant.
You never know, right? I don't want to give TPCI credit, right? But at least, for TPCI, they have received these exclusive, right? At least that with that sense, it is, not for Japan.
Yeah.
And that is saying something, at least, in my opinion, right? But other than that, really,
Well, like on the topic of complacency that you mentioned before, right?
Yeah.
So like, if they keep going down this track, right, and they lose collectors like you and I, right? And like, we're not the only ones that kind of feel this way, right?
Yeah.
If more and more collectors shift to just single only collecting, then moving product off the shelves is going to get harder and harder, right? And that will bite them eventually, because if product is just sitting on the shelves as not moving, then the box prices are going to go down again. And I mean, it's cyclical. Like, so like you could argue that it'll sort itself out, because then people will go and buy again because it'll be affordable. But
yeah,
you can kill interest. Like, you can kill off
even an external factor, which we haven't considered yet, is Pocket. Will Pocket further fuel their complacency? Because that is going absolutely bananas in terms of sales.
Well,
and
I don't think it's a coincidence that like Surging Sparks was as popular and hard to get as it was. I don't think it's a coincidence that happened at the same time Pocket released. There definitely was like a surge of new people coming in to buy physical cards because of Pocket. So it's definitely got an impact.
I can't say that because I simply don't know it, but it could be. But I also think of Surging Sparks. This is like a sidetracked conversation. People were not having, the Terastal stuff, right? I'm sorry to say this, but Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, what's it called again? Twilight Masquerade, Stellar Crown. I'm sorry to say this, but it is very like, for us, it's, I want to say, for the mainstream, sorry, but I don't know any of it, right? That's what they think. And now they have more like Alone Executor, they have Pikachu, they have Melodic. That's more familiar, right?
Yeah.
And sorry to say this, but there's like a big Pikachu slapped on the set, right? That is a familiar face. The other parts,
I think it helped. I think it, like that helped. It was like, it's like a perfect storm,
Yes.
Yeah.
People were in for due for like a set like that. I want to say, but yeah, maybe Pocket could have been also maybe a factor, because it's like, I believe, still number one in the app stores in Japan in terms of revenue, right? Top grossing. That's something we should, dedicate a podcast on. Even I am playing it,
And you said you weren't.
Because I weren't going to play it, but I'm still playing it. Mind you, right?
Which is a testament.
This app is essentially geo-blocked in the Netherlands, Belgium, and Luxembourg.
Yeah.
That you cannot physically download this app without download it from third parties. I cannot purchase any credits for this app in the Play Store because you can't.
And that's a good thing, because you're getting that itch scratched. And like, that's the thing. Like, if a lot of collectors are getting that pack opening itch scratched from a free to play product,
trust me.
Why would they? Then why would they go and open the physical? Especially when the physical landscape is as like complex and difficult to navigate as we've kind of just discussed.
Correct.
Through the course of this podcast, because that's like crazy. Like,
correct.
Like, if you just listen to this and you had no idea about Pokemon cards, you'd be like, what are these? What are these guys cooking? Like, why are there so many stories? There's so many layers. There's so many like different events. Like, how can that be happening in like this relatively like harmless hobby of Pokemon cards? But it just is. And like, I had this experience where I was explaining Pokemon cards and like what's going on with it to somebody who's like, you know, what, like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever, right? And they were like, what the hell? Like, this sounds like insane. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like, at times, like, it can even like seem embarrassing to like explain to people. Like, this is, you know, this is what Pokemon cards has developed into. It's not what it was, but like, this is what it's become. It's like all money driven. It's basically like whoever's with the most money wins, and it's essentially like it's cushioned gambling, you know. So,
like I said in the beginning, I'm running a Pokemon League since 2019. Yeah, that's the perfect example, right? I'm running a Pokemon League since 2019. Before 2021, the kids didn't bother about pricing. Of course, there was always like, whoa, this big hyper rare, this big gold card. Whoa, do you want to trade it? Now, there are literally kids, right? Hey, is this valuable? Hey, is this going to be valuable? And I say, bro, you just pulled Blastoise special art from 151, and you want to trade for something that's more worth it. You know, I didn't even bother about the artwork, and that's saying something, right? I say, bro, just keep it. Yeah, it will likely, you know, raise in price in the future. But first of all, do you like this card? No, I just want, you know, the money card. And this a kid of 7 is saying that already to me. And his father, you know, is like cringing hard because, you know, he's like blinded by all the value. And I get it, right? The kids, they see something valuable, and this social media driven as well, right? Like you say in the beginning, it's about money. And which is, again, not per se a bad thing. It's always nice to have at the back of your mind to know what it's worth, right? But I am a little bit afraid of the future that you know, the artwork, you know, appreciation will get lost. But I think that's something for another day.
Well, it's like it's a broader topic than outside of just Pokemon cards. Like it's an issue with like the it's a societal issue, and like as a
consumerism.
As like a race, like we are slowly losing touch with the creative arts, and like it just extends into so many different components, like from how we view like commodities to how we like work daily with AI. Like there was like, for example, let's say you ride a bike every day, right? And then you just stop riding a bike. Okay, well, you should know how to ride a bike if you pick it up again after like 20 or 30 years, right?
Yeah.
But there's a chance that you might not remember how to ride a bike, right? So it's the same with like any skill, right? If you, especially in like the creative space, so like if you're constantly trying to generate new ideas, like think of like a new thing, right? All the time, like you're constantly developing that skill. Like you're getting better at thinking of ideas, you're getting better at developing them, right? But if you do that for like 5 years and then you stop doing that of your own volition, and then you rely on like ChatGPT to come up with your ideas for you and automate that process, right? After a few years, you're going to lose the ability to generate new ideas because you're relying on something else to do it, right? Correct. So in the same way with Pokemon cards, right? If all we're doing is just valuing them and like looking at them as a dollar figure, right? Commodifying them, we will eventually, and we are already, and this is what people were scared of, or like, you know, say like pearl clutching a couple of years ago, but like this is the result of it now. You got kids that just don't look at the card and say, like you said, do you even like it? They only see it as like a dollar sign, and if it can get them something else that's worth more. And that's like, that in like 5 years will get worse, right?
Correct.
To the point where like, if you can't appreciate something that's just in your hand right then and there, like, dude, that's going to get so much worse in a few years' time. Like to the point where, like I said at the start of this episode, you might as well just put a white piece of paper in the box that just says Pokemon on it and make it really hard to get. People will go crazy for it.
I get what you mean. Yeah. Chase element. The chase element, like I said in the beginning, when is it going too far with the chase element? And I think this is a pivotal point of it getting a little bit far with the chase element, right? Because you are getting 3 times like 3 of the same art, the non-foil, the Pokeball Merfolk, and a Master Ball, again, which isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
So I will eventually collect these, like, because I collect specific Pokemon. That's, on me. But am I happy with this? No. Sorry. No. I don't want to pay 30,000 yen, double, because of a Master Ball Umbreon and an Umbreon SAR card, right? I'm not terribly happy, right? But where will it go from here? We have better partners, and GloFT Rocket, still coming up. That may be, I don't know how that will end, but from what it seems, the roadmap for next year, the Q1 is looking very nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully people will appreciate the nice artwork and the characters and the Pokemon. If it doesn't, then we are in for trouble. If it doesn't sell well, right?
Yeah.
If it doesn't sell well, we are in for a huge, huge issue for the future, like you just mentioned. Because GloFT Team Rocket is essentially a set that will decide, hey, will people appreciate Team Rocket for what they are, or Team Rocket for the prices?
Well, like I said before, if it is too hard to get this stuff for too many sets consecutively, people will just go and do something else. They'll just go do something else. Like Surging Sparks, that's probably strike 1. Prismatic Evolutions, and now we're talking about English, right?
Yeah.
That's strike 2. Because Surging Sparks is hard to find, and it's definitely difficult to find at retail, right?
Yeah.
So Surging Sparks is hard to find at retail. So that's strike 1. Prismatic Evolutions is difficult to find at retail, and it's not even out yet. So that's strike 2. Yeah, that happens again with Team Rocket, and the set after that, the supposed black and white set. 4 sets in a row that are like, you're paying through the nose to get. Like, just go do something else at that point. Like, it's not fun. Like, if you can't engage in it at its like base level intended form, which is go to Walmart, go to Costco and buy it off the shelf. Yeah, just go do something else at that point.
Personally, TPCI product is a low number 2, low priority product for me. If I have my local shops, because they know me for like eternity at this point, and I know everyone in the community, the retail chain stores, they know me, right? And the community along with it, right? They even collect themselves. But many others, they don't have that connection with the community in their own city, right? So, that's going to be an issue. So TPCI...
You get what I'm saying, right? Like,
I get what you're saying.
These customers that you've just brought in that have come in the last 6 months are just as quickly going to go if they can't. Yeah.
They are not in for long term. Yeah. And what you said about popular products, right? Like you said earlier in the podcast, you see more conventions popping up, right? For Pokemon, and trading card shows. I saw like 1.5 months ago, at the parking lot, right, at a Pokemon convention, there was like a whole group standing at the boot of their car with 3 cases of Japanese 151.
Yeah.
Right? Mind you, this is like, I want to say like 100 euros a box, right?
Yeah.
They are paying, at proper resale prices. Do they really like 151 that much? I was just, standing for like 1 second, watching them. Do they really like 151 that much? I don't want to say I don't think they don't.
Dude,
I
run a Pokemon card channel. I like, most of what I do every day is making videos or like generating ideas around Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And I don't like 151 that much, right? You run a Pokemon card website and a podcast, and I know that you don't like 151 that much.
Hey, I have, I believe 4 or 5 boxes tucked away.
Yeah.
Because I do like 151, right? But I don't like it that much as to pay like 100 euros a box, because there was a reprint, right? If you were there in March, you would have gotten it for a retail price. You're right. If you know everyone in Japan. but I'm not going to pay 100 euros that much for a case, per box. That is very much money, right? In hopes that it's going to rise, because eventually it will, right? But yeah, why? I have no idea. Personally, I don't think they were in it for, they might like the set, but obviously they were just, hey, I saw this breaker or this YouTuber or influencer likely, hyping up 151 because it's a great set, great identity. That I have to say and admit. This set is an instant classic. I want to say even go as far. The best set this generation so far. At least the number one set in the past 2 years.
Yeah, for Scarlet Violet, yeah, for sure.
Scarlet Violet for sure. But considering how much there is out there, because there are still, I believe, Pokemon Center Online stock out there for single packs.
Yeah.
Yeah, mind you, that's saying something.
I don't think it'll. I don't think it'll fall like it'll. Like I was saying, its butt will fall out from underneath it. But
no, it won't. But I think if you need to wait 5 years, 3 to 4 years before it may do something. And I think I want to say, look at the VMAX Climax. Yeah, that set got, in my opinion, everything. I want to say V-Star Universe as well. V-Star Universe is also getting its second anniversary, already gotten its second anniversary, right? And what's it like? 15,000 yen a box at maximum.
Yeah.
For VMAX Climax, 3 years old. Yeah. And in 2 years, it's like the 5-year anniversary mark. And I believe then it's like 30th anniversary of Pokemon. So,
I mean, it's just the nature of collecting, though. It's like whatever the majority deems as like the thing is what will be worth money, and that comes back to the topic of Umbreon before. It's like
correct.
Umbreon is the thing, and like when you go on YouTube, it's all people talk about, and kids watch that stuff. My nieces watch it, and they know that the Umbreon is worth the most because X YouTuber said it, and it's just how it is. If one day everyone woke up and decided it was, Cleffa, then it would be Cleffa. What I mean?
That's crazy how society works, really, and social media as well, right? Something totally different, right? You mentioned about the chef artist, right?
Yeah.
There's like, Joe, it's a personal friend of ours, right? And he liked the chef, right? Okay, so I wanted to know more about his chef as well, right? Because did she really illustrate, that cake? And this chef is super impressive, right? Really, really impressive on another level. What is it? It's like an artist instead of a chef.
Yeah.
But I want to say it's creatures trying too hard, because why are they putting a cake in the form of terrestrial jewels right in there? And like, this is why I said, right, the promotional stuff, looking at new players and customers. Why is, and I want to even involve, what was Tetsuhara as well.
Yeah.
Right? Do they really need to be, designing a Pokemon card? I don't think so. I want to say there's better alternatives in there. That's very controversial, by the way.
Yeah, but I don't hate it. I like it. I think it's if anything, it's like a flex, the extent of how.
Are they trying too hard?
Nah, I mean, I'm for it. I feel like eventually we're going to get a card by Eiichiro Oda, the mangaka behind One Piece, one day. When I saw, that's what I thought immediately when I saw Tetsuhara. I was like, we will get a card by Oda one day. I think that's cool. I think that's cool.
The Tetsuhara stuff, I get it, right? Because they've been doing that for 4 years now. So that's to be expected. The chef thing, interesting. But
it could also be just like a Japan thing. Like I actually will go after we're done here, to see like the extent of her influence across Japan, like whether she's like she's popped up in the last year. and like is like super popular across Japan. And that could just be it, just like an opportunistic thing.
As a celebrity chef, very impressive stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of sidetrack. But in terms of promotion, I think is it that unnecessary, right? Because there were like 3 interviews along with it. You know, look, we got this, special chef with a Pokemon card. I think it's a bit unnecessary, to include real food. I do think it's interesting. I get the thing, but I think it's unnecessary for this set. But
I don't know. I see it as like pushing boundaries. I like it. Anytime boundaries are pushed in any space, it's cool.
At least you do try, new things. In that sense, I get it.
Why do you hate desserts so much? Such a hater, dude.
Oh, I liked. The thing is, right? I just I want to see someone ordering, that cake off her, right? Which is super exclusive, by the way. It is very expensive and exclusive. Not many people can order that cake. You have to be on a really long list, But other than that, I think let's wrap up Terastal Festival. Are there any other things you wanted to say about Terastal Festival before we wrap this up?
Nah, man. I feel like we covered a lot. There's definitely more that can be discussed, but it'll have to be for another day.
I think let's summarize. For me, Terastal Festival, a nice idea. I think the Archers exclusion was very unnecessary, almost killing of the set for me. I am not very hyped. I will open 1 box, and I have 2 boxes sealed that I will keep sealed. And for the future, I have no idea. I will eventually buy the cards that I need, but I don't support all the hype for the set, especially not on social media. And you've seen me on social media as well. I have mentioned the set very little because I don't support the set at all. Really,
I'm much the same. Like. I mean, I support it, but like, I have nothing to say really about it on social media, or like what I want to say would not be received well in the broader space. So like, I actually quite liked that you invited me onto this episode so I could talk about it here, where we could focus it and talk about the micro and macro. Yeah. Because if I was like, I would be pretending to be like excited thoroughly for this set. I'll open up a few boxes and I'll collect it because I think it's really cool, but you're not going to see me tripping over myself spending more than retail for these boxes, because you go, like we were talking about reprint, and we know, dude, just go look at Shiny Treasure EX. You can still buy it off the Pokemon Center Japan at retail. This is going to be the same thing for this set in a year's time too. I don't see it being any different, because at the end of the day, who wants to make money from Pokemon cards more than anybody?
Themselves. Yeah.
That's it. So like, why wouldn't they just, it's free money. It's flying off the shelves. Why wouldn't they just keep printing it? And I feel like the only thing we need to talk about Terastal Festival today was the volume of boxes that have left Japan and the influence on the Japanese card market. But I feel like we can talk about that together later, not on this episode. We could do that on the channel, on my channel. Maybe that's an episode that we record there.
Fine.
Yeah?
Yes.
I know I owe you one. We're still due, so we'll save that.
Perfect. And with that, I will end this podcast. It was a blast having you, Julian. Again, I'm sure people can find you, but where can you find you on the internet?
YouTube.com/okJLUV, Twitch.tv/okJLUV, Instagram.com/okJLUV. It's okJLUV literally everywhere. I'm on TikTok too. So Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch. Check out YouTube. That's where most of my high production videos go up. And I've got one coming out this week. A big tour through Nagoya. So if you're going to Japan anytime soon, you want to see the card stores in Nagoya, which usually gets overlooked. People mostly go to Tokyo and Osaka. You'll like that video. But Primal, thank you so much for having me on. I genuinely enjoyed it. Thank you for letting me talk so much.
You're welcome. Anytime. Oh, excellent. I will leave links in the description, as always, with the people who are guests in this episode. And of course, you can watch this podcast, on YouTube, the video version, and at all the places where you get your podcast from, you can listen in. And with that, thank you very much, my friend. And to everyone, thank you for listening and watching. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you for listening, guys.
Goodbye.
See you in the next one. You better get me on again.
Soon.
All right.
Goodbye.
Peace out.